Alright, welcome back to That Time Occurrence of Slime, Anime Review, Episode 48. Spoilers. Yes, we're here discussing the new movie for That Time Occurrence of Slime, Tears of Azure Sea. Yeah, it took me a bit, basically, a chance to record this because my computer is still not cooperating. I know where I'm getting a new one. So, in this movie, to be a piece of a flute. A dragon flute, mind you. And then we see the following people: Rimu, Shion, Shuna, Benimaru, Shion, Hikaku, Malim, Valdora, Ramiris, looks like Trini, Faye, the elf girl, I forgot her name, her cousin, basically, who was the niece of her father. Yeah, a lot of more familiar characters, and of course Gapta is there with Yoga. Yeah, interesting we have all these characters here. Like, we don't have Guild. I guess because basically probably wasn't much for him to do. And plus also it's probably was an excuse to have the girls in the movie wear bikinis. Yeah, and by the way, the swimsuits are just basically Malim's got a two-piece. I think Shuna's got like one where it just all two-piece as well. Shion basically is just like two straps covering her chest and like a little bottom. And it's purple, just like her hair. And basically they're invited by the Holy Empress for a vacation, this resort town. Yep. And then also where the king is like, okay, how the chancellor who is going after this particular person. Who this person is, they know a little bit later, this actually is Yon. And I had to look out while watching, like, who is voicing this character? It's Allegra Clark. As in the voice of Maki from Jujutsu Kaisen. Yep. And this is probably going to be her sole appearance in the series. I'm not sure if she did more after this. So, and Riru's in town, enjoying the sights, going to the beach, obviously. There's also nuclear magic. We do see Leon making a brief appearance in the movie, which, yeah, that was surprising. I didn't expect him to show up. Yeah, he's the guy who was isekai like a few other characters. Oh, also Hinata is here along with Luminous. Interesting, we have Luminous here because, well, obviously she was not in the last movie. Last movie was really good. It involved basically Benimaru's brother. But this movie, no, he's not here. Well, probably because it's completely original, that one. But it is canon. This one, based upon when they do a, let's say, a small little, like, recap in the movie, and they show up various flashbacks, like season 1 of the show, season 2, and even season 3, which they had the founding festival, which was successful. So this movie is obviously set between seasons 3 and 4. Fills that little gap in perfectly fine, just like how the first movie takes place between seasons 2 and 3. What I think basically might get a third movie, I would not be surprised. In fact, this movie was really good. So Malim and Valdora go for sweets. And you have Rimu, Shion, Shuna, Gapta, and Ryoga go to the beach. And the rest of the girls go out drinking. Yep, they drink. And they're out for a lot of the movie. Basically, it's fun when we drink until basically the action that kicks off. We have the nuclear thing. Of course, apparently Leon's had this barrier. Apparently people were shooting at him. He thinks it's a demon. It's actually going to be somebody else. And we see this chancellor who's plotting something. Which, yeah, there's things about him. So, and of course, Gopz notices basically, he's one who notices this. He knows someone following them. Yon. And basically, they kind of follow each other around, looking for, and of course, they go after Rimuru, and of course, we have Shuna and Shion with, of course, the elf girl, where they go on like a little, almost like a tunnel of love. And of course, basically, they're hanging off me. They're hanging off Rimuru because, well, both these girls got a thing for him, and they kind of tease this in season 3 of the show about, oh, Benny Mara may have a harem, and also the fact that there's two women fighting for his love. In the case of Rimuru, there's currently 2 women fighting for his love too. Actually, more like 3 if you include Malim and maybe Hinata. I'm like, you lucky man. And it's something of the fact that, well, Rimuru does not have a scene where he shares a bed with the two girls. Yeah, so though at least she only seen carry him like she does in the show, where basically her breast on top of his head when he's in slime form, which he enjoys that. I'm surprised basically they'll pick the scene where he's like make a little hand or he touching her breast because his head, top of his head is, well, his slime former is near her chest. I'm surprised at touching that. I'm sure for her, she probably wouldn't mind again the fact that she likes him. Yeah, a high Oni in love with a slime who takes human form. Yes. So, and then of course basically all this magic happening, and of course we have another explosion happen, and then of course basically Gapta spends time with Yin. Yulin, like her name? Yeah, Yulin. Where she claims, oh, she's a daughter of fisherman. She really is not. And they kind of like go on like a little date per se, eating like fish cakes. Yes, this is a Japanese delicacy that is very common in several different Japanese anime. This actually is the first Japanese anime, well, excuse me, fantasy anime to feature those fish, because those are always seen in like basically Tokyo. Never in fantasy settings that I remember. The ones I've seen anyways don't usually have that. I'm guessing the reason why they have that because, and this is my personal guess, I'm thinking Rimuru must have given someone the recipe to make those damn things. Yeah, so, and then of course basically like, they feel, oh yeah, this guy is evil obviously, and he takes the dragon flute back, and he unleashes the water dragon. Now, they do kind of explain what the heck is going on. So, the Chancellor had manipulated 2 fake witnesses to think Rimuru was going to attack the kingdom. One guy who was obviously not Benimaru, and the other one not Shion. Yeah, it's obviously not them. Well, they probably, based on the appearance they might have, like, for instance, they kind of look like Mulakazuk. Nope. The one who's basically posed on the show, he's way too overweight to be him. And the one being Benimaru is his chin. And he's got hair on his face. Benimaru was clean shaven. It's like he manipulates the whole situation, like, oh yeah, that, and then of course they have that dragon fruit while he's playing it, like, and of course like only priests can play, like, it's like, nah, that's, and of course you have all these age texts, and we have the first big battle of the movie, and results in basically things are cracking. Why it's are cracking? Well, we'll get to that later. So they get Dragon Fruit Black, and the monster kind of turns on the Chancellor, and then his, what appears to be the henchman, nope, he stabs him. You're like, what? So the main villain gets turned on by a subordinate who turns out to be the actual main villain? Okay, that's a bit unusual. Yeah, he gets killed. He actually gets vaporized with freaking fire, like, damn. And then, of course, kidnaps Leon. When, of course, they go to Underwater Kingdom, which, when they go outside, look at these, like, night sky. I'm like, this looks like which knows Gapto, which he's so many. This obviously looks like it's based upon Japan. Somebody in this kingdom must be reincarnated from Japan. Because I see a bunch of rice paddies, and, of course, basically, an area looks like one of the sides of riverbeds that's typically seen in any anime set in Japan. They love having these. Heck, it's even depicted in Super Sentai with this particular stuff. And I think Kamen Rider as well. I don't think we're going to hear us feature these riverbeds. So, yeah, and it's obviously that Gapta's got a thing for Leon, when of course she's a really high priest. So, they go into water, and, well, they get down there. Now, you're probably thinking, what about Valdor and Malim? Oh, they have to stay behind, and apparently Rimuru considers them too much of a wild card those two to bring them down underwater, which was probably a really good idea for him to do. And there's, of course, second one, of course, that leads the whole water dragon thing. And then, of course, then calls. But by the way, the guy who's the Chancellor refers to the real main villain as Lowborn. Yeah, that's a stupid term. By the way, I've actually heard the term Lowborn in Sentai. You're probably thinking, which one? Shurikenger. Yeah, the whole thing of low birth is like, oh, because they're not a noble. I am like, that's freaking stupid. It's a stupid term. I am surprised it made it into a fantasy anime series. And then it turns out he kidnaps, it calls Gapta a monster, and proceeds to punch him in the head multiple times. Yes, punching guy, and it also looked like before he showed up that Gapta and Leon, because he was looking for her, that these two are about to make out. And then I'm like, you cockblocker, you. Yes, Gay is a cockblocker. So he beats up Gapta, basically almost blows him up, thinking that he's dead. And then that the reason why he's taking, like, of course, attacking our attendants is because he's in love with her. He's going to marry her and take her power for himself so he can destroy the surface world. I'm like, I really would love to beat the crap out of this guy. Yeah. But thank God I got to BB2 because this guy is so stupid. So then he leaves a bunch of water dragons. One looks like a freaking Hydra. They have this big, humongous action sequence where we have pretty much all of our characters who just switch clothing from the outfits they're wearing. Of course, wear their traditional in-series outfits. And they'll slice about the water dragons, Faye, and everybody gets involved in this whole thing. Like, all of our characters get a chance to something here. Gapta and Ryoga basically are just, like, right along in the air. They get knocked down. And, of course, their Yiling is there. And also, is revealed by our true main villain. Because the story goes that there was this messenger from the Water Dragon, and of course, all these various clans. And this one group basically who works the Water Dragon, this flute on the water, this messenger, who turns out to be Yiling. And of course, Gapta got it right. And there's a weird thing with the floor. I'm like, yeah, the way it's designed, it almost seemed like it was going to be moved. Like, somebody was going to basically turn that table around to where stuff would match. But for some reason, that didn't happen. Like, it was, I'm guessing that particular floor was clearly set up in that temple to be moved. Like, someone must have basically, like, that probably was pre-planned. I'm guessing they must have cut it in this. I'm guessing because you look at this thing, like, you watch me like, oh, they're going to use that to unlock some secret passageway in this temple. Nope. It's complete red herring. I kind of thought that while looking at this damn thing. I'm sure that this was probably a sequence that probably was planned in the script, but they scrapped it. That's probably what happened, is that the studio who made this movie, they must have scrapped because they found the sequence too silly, or, like, it would have been a bit too obvious, though we did also something similar happen in Case Closed. With the whole thing of, like, a mecha was opening something with the temple. That would be really cool, but that didn't happen here. Also, we do see with the explosion, we see that where this Unseen Kingdom is, it's like it's slowly being moved. And everyone thinks based on the scenes we have where it's like, oh, this is nearby the resort. Oh, this actually is underwater. I like the fact we did that. There's a little build up with that one. And then, of course, Gapta, basically finds out where Leon is, the big final sequence, and going through this tunnel that looks like the destroyer from the episode Doomsday, looking like a big Doomsday by a ship from the episode Doomsday from the original series. He goes through, merges with Ryoga, which he did that basically see through the show, which, yeah, come think of when I saw that, I'm like, wait, is this after Malim got them back? I'm guessing because Malim returned him to Reamer at the start of the season. Actually, when she first appeared in the season. I'm guessing this is probably what I said after that, because I highly doubt I said before that. So, he tells like, "I love you," and of course he opens the big eye, and he punches the guy in the face, takes Zealand, and then of course Rimuru does this big, humongous spell involving 10 mirrors and fires a laser beam from frickin' space. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, and of course, Lamas basically does question about that. Excuse me, Luminous. She just question about that, like, did you really have that power with you all along? It's like, yeah. Something he never showed in the show. That would be interesting to see him destroy Nox Country. And of course, there's a hint with Diablo in the movie, like, where is Diablo? Oh, he's recruiting a subordinate, which is something he actually was doing in the show, in the season itself. So, you could say this movie is like an in-between one of the episodes season. So, at some point in the season, you could put this movie. Yeah, so this movie takes place. Actually takes place before we receive a letter from the Council West. So it takes place actually a month after the end of the Fire Fan Festival. Okay. So it said before the episode that hasn't released dub yet. I'm like, okay, interesting. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. Definitely looking forward to whenever they release next episode for the show. Yeah, but this movie, really good. Yep. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, notifications. Next up we have is Kamen Rider, okay? Thanks you. Bye.